everyone. I decided to do my very first video as a live. I was going to do a regular video, but I figured that I was going to do a story time of my birth story with this little one right here. That's why I haven't posted any new videos recently. I had a really hard pregnancy with her and very sick, so I took a lot of time off, but now I'm feeling a lot better and decided I would give this a shot. Kind of nervous, but I think having my little co-host here with me will make it be a little bit better. So excuse me if I'm a little rambly. So I'm going to be decorating these cookies. I got them at Walmart. I got quite a few of these kits because I'm going to do another vlog probably style. I don't know if I'm going to do a live with my son. And we're going to do, I got other spooky Halloween cookies, and then I got a haunted village, and then I got a pumpkin patch. So we'll see which one that we're going to do for that one. So I got these. I haven't opened them yet. So they're pretty cool. They're these little heart ones. Let's see. So you got these ones with the heart eyes, and then I got these ones. So I kind of like the heart ones first. So I think I'm gonna do the hearts first, and then I got all these different little colors. Icing, I guess. Sometimes I go a little overboard with the icing, so. And then they came with these cool, they came with sprinkles. I don't know what these are. They're little balls. So little balls, and then other little circular sprinkle ones. So we'll see which ones we're going to do. So, let's see. They came with, they have 2 packs of each of these ones and these ones. So I might do one of each. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes me to talk about this birth story. So it's kind of down here. Let me see. Again, maybe not. I'll just show you guys as I go along. Sorry. I'm on my laptop, so I'll just kind of poke it up as I'm going. All right. So obviously, I have been gone for a long time. I looked on my YouTube studios, and I have not made a video in 10 months. And those videos were written birth stories, were written original stories. And this one, I was going to do a video style, but I don't know, I wanted to go live and just kind of do a on-the-cuff kind of video. Not one that I really had to edit because, you know, having her around, and she's 7 months, she's 7 weeks today, actually. So let's see. This isn't working out very well. Let's see. Let me open up another one. Maybe I didn't open it up low enough. I might have to go get scissors. Let's see. Yeah, I might have to go get scissors. So, all right, hold on 1 second. Let me see. All right, so I got scissors. On the box here, they kind of have how they've already decorated right here. Let me see, right here. So I might kind of follow along with how these are decorated just because I don't really know what I'm doing. So let's see. Got orange. So I had to cut it open a little bit more. So on here, on the thing, they have uh-oh. Let's see. Oh, that's not too bad. All right. So I should get going on my story time here. So with my pregnancy with Jadzia was really, really awful. I had this, I wouldn't really call it a disease, but it's called hypermesis gravidarum. I only just call it HG just because I obviously can't pronounce the proper name of it. But it's something that has to do with the placenta. And I was dead dog sick. Like living in my bathroom sick. I won't go into too much detail because it was really awful. And it kept me from being able to even think of like poetry and other short stories. On here, I know I posted some of my poetry, but I also write little short stories. If you don't follow me on Storyfire, is where I post all of my writing content. You can go check it out over there. I was also thinking about doing another recorded video of my short stories. So we'll see. Look, this is what I have going so far. I'm not very good, so bear with me. We'll see how this turns out. So sorry, I'm kind of rambly. I'm a little nervous being my first live, so bear with me. So yeah, with my pregnancy with her, I could not think straight. Even now, my brain is still kind of dead. I have a hard time really thinking, obviously. I'm nervous, but I'm also having a hard time thinking. So please bear with me. Uh-oh. Oh no. I messed up the eyebrow. Oh well. So whenever I'll tell you my birth story with her. So as I was saying, I had hypermesis is also what I call it. And I was induced at 38 weeks. I had to see a high risk OB, and they had watched me and her growth and determined that she had what is called a growth restriction, and that was really scary. I guess it has to do with the placenta not working properly, which made sense because I was very, very sick. So I was not eating some days at all. I would go a couple of days without eating. And it was just really, really just a really hard time. It took a lot of brain power and oh no, it like exploded. Took a lot of brain power. And so when they were doing, her, what do you call it, like growth scans, they had determined that she at one point towards the grow. It was concerning, obviously. And so I opted to get induced with her. And I know that there's a lot of, stories out there about not getting induced, but it was medically necessary for her. I was very worried about something bad happening to her or to both of us. And I'm very, very grateful that I had my midwife and I had, the high risk OB that were really keeping an eye on her and listening to me whenever I had my concerns about her. She was still moving in utero, and, I didn't want to be too upset with her not growing, but that's just kind of impossible not to be worried. So I opted to get induced with her, and it was at 38 weeks and 3 days. And, I had a pretty decent birth, I'd say. Um, Goodness, this is. I've never done these before, so. Oh my goodness. So I went in to be induced. It was on a Thursday morning at 8 a.m. And I have a 3-year-old son. And so their father went and dropped him off at their cousin's house so that, their dad could be there with me. He was there. I'll have to do a different video for the birth story for my son. He's 3, so it was a little bit time back that I would have to think of how it went, but it just as hers. She turned her head pretty smooth. I had HG with him as well, but it subsided substantially around 25 weeks. And with her, around that time, it didn't subside, but it lessened a little bit to where I wasn't living in the bathroom 24/7. Toilet. But let's see. Okay, sorry, it went black. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh, but it took about like a couple of weeks, and it came back full force, and I was right back to where I was during my first trimester. And that's also why my midwife, she's also what do they call it, a CNM, a certified nursing midwife, something like that. And I love her. She was my doctor for my firstborn and for her as well. And so I have all the trust in the world for that woman. She took fantastic care of me. I was on some I wouldn't call them birth boards, but they were just other story about not having their doctor on their side, listening to them, how they felt, was really heartbreaking. And I felt very lucky to have a doctor who would see me anytime and would listen to me and believe me when I told her that this is not normal morning sickness, that there really felt wrong with the body, and they don't have a lot of research as to what happens and why some women get HG, but they think, like I have said, that it's with the placenta. So I went in at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I had a different midwife who was there, and she was beautiful, so fantastic. And I let her know, also what I was going through, and she was just very open too. And the nurses, my goodness, the delivering nurses are angels. They are absolutely angels on earth. And can you believe this? I washed my hands, so I'm going to just wipe this kind of back on here. I'm going to end up throwing this away, but I wanted to use this blue. Let me do this mouth, and then I'm going to show you guys where I'm at on this. they gave medicine at the hospital. I was sick all over the place. And so it was pretty bearable. I was induced. They did, what did they do? I think they did the balloon where they insert it next to the cervix and it just kind of opens it, or I don't really know how it works. But with my son, I had the pill that it's supposed to trigger labor, but they were concerned that with her fetal growth restriction that just wouldn't be a good option, because they were really trying to keep me away from having to get a C-section, which I had to whatever have my daughter be born in the most healthy way possible, that I would do whatever it take. So they were, oh my goodness, his mouth like drooled. They were very fantastic on keeping me safe and keeping her safe. So this first story with her is a little bit embarrassing, but I think that birth is not a clean thing. I'm not too sure what the word is, but it's just very messy. And I had moments where I was just, I started like because I to have a painkiller. So it was fentanyl that they give a very, very small dose, because with the contractions that I was having with her was just horrendous. And I knew it was going to be really bad because I was induced with my son. So I already kind of knew what to expect when it came to the Pitocin. So I held out a lot longer than I thought I would. So I went in at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday. And it wasn't until probably about 9 or 10 o'clock that night that I was having a really, really hard time. And so the nurse said that since I had my water broken, to speak up, because I was in so much pain that I was really just living in the moment. I wasn't, thinking too far ahead, just trying to breathe and just survive, basically. And so when the midwife came in and she asked me, would you like me to break your water to kind of get things going a little bit quicker, or, speed things up? I was fine with it. I know that there are women out there who, they're like, no way, I don't want my water broken. I don't want none of this. But you know what? I listened and believed in my nurses and I believe that they absolutely had my best interest at heart. I didn't feel any sort of way about what they recommended for me. So I was all for it. And so she left. It hurt. I won't lie. It hurt. And I should have remembered what she was doing, but like I said, my brain was just in another dimension, obviously. And I'll show you. This is not going as I had planned. It looks like he has a little tongue sticking out. So when the midwife left and the nurse, I had a beautiful labor and delivery nurse. She was so attentive I know that they had other women on the floor who were also giving birth at the same time, but I felt that they were also there for me, and that they weren't, trying to be all over the place. And it, it was really, mine's just so amazing. And so when I'm gonna start doing some of these because I'm getting this frosting all over the place. I can't believe it. Anyway, so when that midwife left and that amazing nurse came in, and she was doing her checks and seeing how I was doing, and I told her, I was like, I feel like my water had broken, that I was leaking. And she looked over at me and she's like, the doctor broke your water. And I looked at her and I was like, she did? And she's like, she looked like she was about to freak out a little bit. And I was like, oh, no, I remember. Yes. Oh my goodness. I didn't want to give her a heart attack, but I felt so bad. And she's like, oh my goodness. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm just in a whole other place right now. And, of course she understood, but I attack it. I was, oh, no, I did agree to, I was fine with having my woman. So that was about like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. It was sometime before the shift changed, so it might have been a little bit earlier, probably like 7 or 8. I can't really remember the time too well, but it was somewhere around there. And so I had another nurse come in and let me know, for the fentanyl, that because I was having a hard time, getting through the contractions with Pitocin, because it's kind of like artificial. It makes your body have contractions. And I was doing the best that I could after already being in labor at that point, probably over 12 hours. And I'm probably going to go on to the next cookie because I kind of feel like I've done enough frosting on here and it's kind of drooling. Oh my goodness. So I got my first dose and I slept. I probably slept for a good 4 hours. And then she came in and then be TMI. But like I said, giving birth is not, all. Some women, I'm sure they absolutely have clean as possible birth experiences, but this time for me, I know that a week of fentanyl, it triggered my stomach for that I didn't have any control over what was happening down there. And I woke up and I had like explosive diarrhea. I'm not gonna lie. It is so embarrassing, but you know what? Giving birth is not just, like I was saying, it is not the I guess just what I had known, there are women that poop during labor, but I did not think that it was going to happen to me. Honestly, I just didn't, because with my son, I didn't poop on myself while I was giving birth to him. And not that I felt lucky that I didn't, but you know what? I was like, heck yeah, one less mess that is my life. It was at that point, it was early in the morning. It must have been the shift change came, and And that nurse, I swear, they are absolute angels. They're like, it's okay. We've seen it all before. This isn't the first time that this has happened. And, of course, you feel like, well, this is the first time that it's happened for me type of thing. But I felt so safe with my delivery nurses that while I felt bad, oh no, while I felt bad for having an accident on myself, like I said, absolute. They didn't make me feel any sort of way. And so it was probably what, 7 or 8 in the morning, and that nurse that was there with me the night before came in, and she's like, you haven't given birth yet. And I was like, nope, I was waiting for you to come back, kidding, of course. And whenever they write, they have like a dry erase board, and they write, who charge nurse is, who's the doctor that's on call now. And, I'm in so much pain. I think by then I had opted to get an epidural. I can't remember when it was. It could have earlier the thing, but they had me sit up for a little while because there were times where her heart on the monitor, it was like dipping. And I don't know all the technical terms. My brain is still fried from being pregnant, because that was was already really, hard on my body and on my mind. And going through the birth process too is just hard. It's all hard. We can absolutely get through it, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be difficult. And there's nothing wrong with having a difficult time. And whenever I was sitting up, I looked at the board and I had seen my doctor's name, my midwife, on. And I turned, I was like, she's here. And they're like, yeah. And I was like, that's my midwife. I'm so happy. And they're, it's just nice to have, nurses that are on the same page as you. So, I was ecstatic, and they were happy for me as well. And whenever they did their checks and all that stuff, my midwife came in, and I was like, I cannot tell you what it means to me that you're the one who's here to deliver this baby with me. Because, like I said, my pregnancy was so hard. And I am so happy for women out there that do not have to go through what I did. I pray that every woman who gives birth does not, or has a pregnancy, does not go through what I went through. And, it was just to see her there and to know, I already felt safe, but it was just a whole other thing knowing that my doctor was there. And, she came in, and I told her, I'm so happy that you're here. And she's like, well, I'm so thankful, that you waited, kind of thing, joking. Because, of course, there's no waiting to give birth or anything like that. It just happens. And so it was just like a couple of hours, that it was, I think they do their shift change. It's like really early in the morning. So like I said, probably like 7 or 8. And about 10 o'clock, they came in. And like I said, I can't remember how long I had the epidural for. Let me show you. Woo-hoo. This one's coming out just a little bit better. I think I cut the holes in my little things a little too big, but I haven't ever done these before. So hopefully as I kind of go through this package with my son, I'll get a little bit better. Maybe. We'll see. But, it was 10 o'clock in the morning, and, my midwife came in, and she was like, I think we're ready to have a baby. And I was telling him, I think I feel her, even though I had the epidural. This was the big difference between my firstborn and her, because I did not feel, I don't even know if he was like in the birth canal. It was a 2-hour pushing that I did with my son. And when my midwife came in, and there was another midwife who, she was new to the hospital, but she wasn't new to helping giving birth to babies, So I am just a go with the flow. I trust you. I believe what you're telling me, because I felt in my soul. I trusted them with my life. And so when that doctor checked me, she was like, her head is right there. And I was like, yeah, it seems like that's what it feels like. And their father, he has watched both of his children be born. And he said he could not believe how quickly I gave birth to her, because like I said, it took me 2 hours with my son. And I guess that's normal with your firstborn, is that it's going to take a while. Some women, of course, they have babies that come out quickly, and other women, it takes some time. And I was one of those that it took just under 2 hours. I started with my son pushing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he was born at 4:58. So literally 2 minutes under 2 hours, and he was born. And with her, it was through 2 contractions, but they wanted me to, push slowly so that I wouldn't tear. Like I said, they were absolutely beautiful. The doctors and the nurses were absolutely phenomenal. I cannot express that enough. And I think that if I were to ever really give advice to any birthing people, it would be, trust what your gut tells you to do. If you are trusting and believing in what your birthing team says, go for it. If you have other things in mind, tell them. They are on your side. They should absolutely be on your side, because you're the person who is giving life. And I was very lucky to, like I said, to have these women on my side. And so it was one contraction that they were kind of having me go slow, but by the next contraction, from what their father and the my midwife had said, she just flew out. I didn't really push at all. I had like a small minimal tearing that didn't need stitches or anything. So I felt like my recovery process has been great. So this is kind of what I have. It's not coming out exactly as I expected. They keep having little tongues coming, but that's okay. my son's going to eat these, so I don't think that he's going to care at all what they look like as long as he can eat them. So, yeah, I had my birth experience with her was what I had expected. My birthing team was on my side. They kept an eye on her because also one of the last growth scans that I had with her, she was just in the right position that the I think they're called a sonographer got a good look at her heart, and they found a small hole. And they say, this happens. It's, common enough that they're not too freaked out about it. And of course, being a mom, it freaked me out. It still freaks me out. She needs to get another checkup on it in she's 2, so in another 2 to 3 months she'll get another checkup and to see if it's closing, which also her pediatrician is hopeful. I wouldn't say hopeful. He said that he has actually seen a couple of babies the month that she was born that also had little holes, and he's confident that it'll close. But to get a checkup on it, of course, you want to make sure that your baby is good to go and they're healthy and they're growing the way that they're supposed to be growing. And so that I think that's also why they were very, they checked up on her a lot. They kept their eye on her on the monitor a lot. They always made sure. I opted to have continuous monitoring even whenever I didn't have the epidural yet. I was very paranoid about the hole, and I still am. Even though they say that it's common enough that, I shouldn't be so worried, but it's like, how? That's I'm not such a worrywart, but at the same time, I just love my baby so, so much. And the pregnancy was so incredibly difficult that I just wasn't willing to have any sort of risks, that I needed to know that she was going to be okay. So, yeah, sorry, this is my very first live and I'm pretty nervous. I've never been on camera before, like my whole entire life. I've taken selfies of myself, and I always do that in private. I don't like people looking at me. So sorry that this is kind of all over the place. My story is kind of all over the place. I tried to write it out a little bit, but I figured that I would just kind of wing it, I guess. I follow other channels who they were, really small channels whenever they started out doing their lives, and they always talk about how nerve-wracking it is to go live for the very first time. But over time, they became more comfortable, and I really want to become more comfortable. I have other ideas that I want to do as fall's coming along. My 3-year-old, I want to do, I don't know if I want to do another, the spooky Halloweens. I'm looking at them, they're right under here. They're like a boo cookie and cat cookies, just your typical Halloween set. But I have these ones as well, that these are more intricate. They have like a lot of line work. I think you could tell on here, I'm not the greatest, I'm going to tell you, but I tried my best and doing this live, I'm trying my best. I'm putting myself out there in a way that I've never done before, but I've always wanted to do YouTube videos. And I started out with my poetry where I would do the recording over, and I used the Canva. I used it on my phone, and I would put my poetry on a background, and then I use another app that's for making videos and just kind of string them together into, I think like they're only 3 to 4 minute long videos. And that's kind of where I started out. And then I got pregnant with her, and I got sick. I was sick almost right away. And I left myself some other poetry that I'm going to make into, my little story. I don't know, like how I have my other videos. And I want to put those on there. I also have short stories. I like to write kind of in the horror genre when it comes to stories. So I have some short stories that I'm not sure if I want to do like a video style like this and just have it be pre-recorded, or if I'm going to come on here onto live and read it out. I'm still brainstorming ideas, because I would like to make some original content. Obviously, my YouTube video is Stormy Dickerson Presents Original Short Stories and Poetry, something like that. So I figured that my first live would be about my birth story, because it's this little girl. She's I think I already mentioned it. She's 7 weeks old today, so she's getting big now that I feel like I can have her in this sling or wrap. She was born at just under 5 pounds, 5.5 pounds, and she's going to have another doctor's appointment here in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to find out how much more she weighs. But I know she's gotten a lot bigger because she actually fits good in this wrap. So I'm comfortable having her on, wrapped up on me. She loves to be held, and I don't mind holding my babies for as long as they want me to hold them. My son, he still loves to be picked up and held and hugged, and I love my babies to death. They are the absolute dream come true for me. I never thought that I would have children, and so when my son was born, I was just on cloud 9. And now that I have a little girl, I am just even higher than cloud 9. My children have given me a life perspective that I just never thought I would see. And I'm very, very grateful for them. And, I also want to make these kind of videos because I want my children to have something that they can look back on and know, my stories that I tell about them, how I felt and how I feel about them, that, they're the loves of my life, and I would do anything for them. And so now that she can fit comfortably in this wrap, I decided she should be my co-host. I have my little, what's that right here? Stormy and Jadzia. She's my little co-host because she, even if I do want to put her down, she still cries. And, I do have to put her down to be able to take care of, business and stuff like that and doing other things. But I don't mind having her attached to me. The pregnancy was so rough that I feel like, and I know it was rough for both of us, and I just feel like having her here on me is just the least that I can do having her skin to skin with me. I have a little tank top on, but me and my children are very bonded. They I don't doubt that they know that I love them with all of my heart, but I just want to have these videos where I do little story times about them, to express to the world really what they mean to me. And even though this is my first video and it's kind of all over the place, and I had an idea of what I wanted to talk about, and I felt like I did talk about it, but it was just kind of all over the place. So kind of bear with me as I start getting more comfortable being here in front of the camera. I know I wanted to do more, but I kind of feel like these are like really messy. So I did my best. I think I did. So my son will have fun eating them though. All right. Well, thank you for hanging in there with me and listening to me ramble and babble and just kind of be all over the place. I wanted to do this a few days ago. I would set myself up and then I'd turn on my camera and then kind of chicken out. So I feel even though this is all over the place, I got through it. It's my first live and it's a little messy, but I did it. And that's more than I could say about anything else right now. So look out for other videos. She's all over the place. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, sorry. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Oh my goodness. So look out for my other videos that I'm going to be posting here soon. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to do, where you're going to see me like this and I'm going to read out some short stories. I want to do how all my other poetry has backgrounds on them and it's just my voice recorded over. I'd like to keep that kind of the same, and then probably have my short stories read out like this where you can see me, and then do kind of off the cuff other story times that are what do you call it, nonfiction, because I write a lot of fiction stories. So I'm still kind of, oh my goodness, I'm still kind of deciding on how I want that to go. So just hang around and we'll see where we're gonna go. So she's getting a little fussy now, so I'm gonna get her out of here. We've been going for almost 50 minutes, so I know she's getting a little tired of being in here, and she doesn't want to turn her head the other way. So, okay, well, we're going to get out of here. This has been me and my co-host, Jadzia. We hope to see you guys again soon. And thanks for listening to me ramble for nearly 50 minutes. I really appreciate you guys. Bye.